Hello. My name is Fazanul Haq, and today I shall be talking about how to install and run Apache Kafka on your Windows. The first thing that we're going to do is go to Apache's own website to download the Kafka package. And through this link, once you click it, the package should install itself. And since I have mine already, I'll use that. So it will download something like this, and you need to extract it. Let's extract it over here. For our ease of use, we're going to rename it. Let's rename it to just Kafka. Once that's done, let's cut it and move it to our C drive. Okay, so we're here. This is the whole package. And if you go over here in the bin folder, you can see all the files that you would require needed to start different setups. But these are all the sh files. And these are used for Linux based systems, and for Windows you need to go into this Windows folder, and over here you can find all the bash files. Let's go back into the configuration folder, and over here you can find your server and Zookeeper. So we need to change some settings over here. Let's open both of these. This is the server. Okay, a fun fact about the broker ID. Once you have different servers running at the same time, multiple servers running at the same time, you need to change the broker ID to do something unique for every file manually. So since we only have a single file, I can keep something like 5, 6, maybe 7,000, anything. So let's keep it 0 for now. So let's change the file path of where the logs are going to be created. I want to keep my logs inside the Kafka folder itself, and same goes for the Zookeeper. Let's change the log files for the Zookeeper as well, and this is it. We can close this, and now the time to run it. Now we're going to go back into our Kafka and open a command line prompt. For our ease of use and to save the time, I've written some commands already. This one's to start the Zookeeper, and once you do this, the Zookeeper should have been started. Yes, this is the sign that your Zookeeper has been started. For our server, we need another CMD. Let's open another CMD, and let's use the server.properties command to start the server. Has it joined with our Zookeeper? I don't think so. Maybe I think this is going to fail. Hmm. Let's see. Yes, this one failed. Let's close this and retry. Looks like this one failed as well. Let's see what could. Hmm. Yes, this one failed as well. Let's delete the log files of the Zookeeper, and maybe once that's done, maybe we can give it another go. That is correct. It should work. I don't know why this isn't working. Hmm. Maybe let's restart everything again. Okay, Zookeeper. Created the Zookeeper directory, and now for this, And I think it joined. Yeah, creating new log file. Yep, there you go. I don't know what the issue was, but your broker has now been started. So if you have any problems like this, maybe you'll need to delete the Zookeeper log folder once and restart everything. Okay, since that's done, over here we can see our Kafka logs folder, and over here our Zookeeper data. Now let's create a test topic. We'll go into the bin Windows and create another CMD, and let's create a topic. So the topic is where all your data goes through from, and the name of our topic is test. So it will run on the local host 9092 port. Okay, let's start this, and your topic has been created. Now, since we want to make a consumer, a system that would consume our data from our producer, we'll create another consumer. A consumer and a producer should always be in separate terminals. So, starting our consumer, a consumer can be a, let's say it can be me, for example. I'm consuming Twitter data. So, our consumer, and for our producer, so the producer would produce the data on the topic name test on the same local host port 9092. Okay, so the producer hasn't started. Let's get these side by side and let's show you. Okay, let's suppose I write a sentence. I am the producer. Okay, I misspelled that, but your text has been consumed. Hey there, this is the producer speaking to you. So that is all for today, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope your Kafka now runs on your Windows 11 Windows systems. This way can be used for both previous generations of Windows 10 and the latest Windows 11 version as well. In my next tutorial, I shall be teaching you how to write a batch file in order to automate all of these commands with a single click of a button. Thank you. Okay, hello, my name is Fazanul Haq, and today we are going to learn how to run Kafka producers and consumers through a Python file and through the use of a BAT file. Okay, so first things first, let's write our producer and consumer code. So we're going to install this library, Kafka library. For that, what you're going to do is pip install Kafka-Python. And since I already have this library, it's going to show me requirement already satisfied. Yes. So once that's done, you're going to import the Kafka producer module in your producer file. And after that, we're going to import JSON to encode our data that we want to produce and send over to our topic. And just an extra time library so that we can add some time delay within our production. So this is I added this line just to show that where our producer has started. This line, what it does is it creates an object called the producer in which we pass the local host port that we want the producer to work on and produce the data on. This while loop shall help us produce and send data consistently. I kept the while loop on infinite loop just so it won't stop. I added some time delay of 3 seconds between each production of data, and then I what I wanted to do was I wanted to send this text message. This is a message and the number of the message. So the number shall increment after every message has been produced and sent over to the consumer. And this text message, this string data, is then encoded using JSON into a UTF-8 encoding, and the first argument that is passed is the name of the topic that we want to send our data that has been produced. Okay, after every data that has been sent through the producer.send, we leave a message on the terminal that our message has been sent, and then we increment our number. Coming on to the consumer, for the consumer, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to import JSON in time, which we don't need, and we're going to import the Kafka consumer module from the Kafka library. In the same way, we're going to create a consumer object. We're going to pass the topic name that we want our consumer to consume the data from. Then we're going to pass the bootstrap server to the consumer object to let it know where it should look for the topic, on which port it should look for the topic. And then over here, this third argument, what it tells is, well, I'll explain this argument at the end. Okay, coming ahead, we implemented a for loop because our consumer variable, what it does is it holds the messages that are incoming, and so we loop the object until the messages are received, and then we print the message, its value, which is then decoded using the UTF-8 decoding method. Okay, so let's go and start. Let's first start the zookeeper. Like before, I'm going to use my set of commands. This is for the zookeeper. Zookeeper has been started. Let's start the server. Server has been started, and now let's create a topic. CMD name of the topic that I'm going to keep is the same as before. It's gonna be named as test. Our topic has been created. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use our Python files to run our producer and consumer. So the rule is wherever you create the Python file, you're supposed to open a CMD terminal on that path. So this is the name of my consumer, and this is the name of my producer. Producer.py and consumer.py. So let's start our consumer and Python consumer.py. Consumer has been started, and for the producer, I'm going to open another terminal and start the producer Python producer dot py. So as soon as I start it, it should start producing text messages, and the consumer should start consuming the text messages. Message has been sent. This is message 0. Message has been sent. This is message 1. So as I said before, I kept the producer so that it increments the value of the message every time it sends the message. So this is an infinite loop, and this will work till the end of time. So now let's create a batch file and automate all of this process into a single file so that you only have to run the whole process with a single touch of a button. Let's close this, let's close this, closing this, and closing the zookeeper. Going back, deleting the log files that had been created, and now let's open our bash file that I wrote. So the first thing that you notice is this command. What it does is whenever a new terminal opens, the what it does is it writes a long sentence that a new terminal has opened on that terminal, and I do not want to see that sentence on each terminal. So I wrote this so it does not echo that line. For the other files that I want to open, I use this command start cmd. You don't need to write this, it can work without it, but since I want to name each of my terminals with its own unique name, I gave it a name called Zookeeper, Server, Kafka Topic, Consumer, and this should be Producer. So start cmd and backslash k. So what does backslash k does is that it once the terminal has been started, this command lets it run until I close it manually. It won't close it automatically. After that, I pass the paths where the zookeeper files are stored. Likewise, then I kept a timer of 5 seconds time delay. The forward slash t, what it does is it tells it to wait for 5 seconds until the next terminal opens. So every line of code, what it does is open it opens a new terminal and it runs the piece of code that I have stored. This one runs the zookeeper, this one runs the server that I wrote, this one runs a topic on the topic name is test, and it runs on the local host port 9092, waits for 5 seconds, starts the consumer, and then starts the producer. So since I have closed all of my previous terminals, I am just going to click this run button and it should start working. Zookeeper, server, topic, our consumer, and our producer. See, it's that easy. Just with a single click of a button, you can start all of your processes. And I hope this has helped you to learn about how to install and run Kafka manually and through a batch file to automate all of this process. And that's it for today, and I hope I helped you loads. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Mohammad Bashir Hassan from Fast News Islamabad, and this is my tutorial video on how to make Kafka work on your Ubuntu. So first of all, we'll go to the Apache Kafka website and then download Kafka. Now make sure that you download the binary downloads, not the source ones. So just click on this link and it will automatically download. Since I've already downloaded this folder, I'll just go to my downloads folder. Now this is the folder of Apache Kafka. As you can see, these are the directories, subdirectories inside it. So next second step is to rename it to Kafka so that it will be easy for us to add paths and copy paste it. So right, you just copy it and paste it on home. Here, these are my subfolders of Kafka. Now further than that, we'll focus on how to follow this DigitalOcean's guide properly on Ubuntu, since it's pretty complicated to actually make it work on Ubuntu sometimes as compared to Windows. So in this step, he's creating another user. Kafka, we don't need that. I will show you how to create Kafka and make it work on your own username. And this is it's changing the location of Kafka's downloaded folder. Alright, so here we can actually change several properties of Kafka. So as you can see, I'm just copying it and pasting it on my terminal, and this is all the documentation of server.properties. Now always remember that you have to find this line and make it true instead of overwriting this file. So we'll just find delete topic dot enable. I think I've missed that one during my installation, but there's no problem. I'll just add it. Here you can see I'll just add that on the bottom of my file. Perfect. Right, and then you have to just change this log directory folder because it's set for the Windows, so we'll have to change it to our log folder that we will create in our Kafka, where it will save the log. So log files or previous history of Kafka usage or errors, etc. So here you go, Kafka, and then logs. Next step is that since to run the Kafka we need bigger commands, and then we have to set their path and etc. So to skip that, we actually change the service path and paths inside service file and path inside Kafka zookeeper service. So we just copy this one, paste it here. Here you go. I've pasted this whole document inside it, but make sure that exe equals to start and the user is the same username that you have in your Ubuntu. For example, my user is hdwop, right? And here you can see that I've changed it here as well, this part, and then this part, this part, and then further this part. So make sure that you change your username while adding these paths, because the Ubuntu's username comes after the home, then your username path, and then the folder name. So always remember that. Now we'll change this one as well, and as you can see there, I've added the username Hadoop as well. Environment is just Java, that is your Java path, and that is pretty generic. We all install it and it just goes right at that place where I've pasted the link. Here you can see that it has given us as well. Alright, so here you can see it's Hadoop, like my username, and this as well, and here as well I've changed it. Now because of that, we can do these two tasks. Like, we don't need to write whole path just to run Kafka or Zookeeper. We just need to write this sudo systems ctl start Kafka status Kafka. This enable command is used that whenever you restart your Ubuntu, or whenever you start your Ubuntu, it would automatically start the services of Zookeeper and Kafka. You don't need to start it all over again. You just enable it and it will just start automatically. Since I have not enabled my Kafka, I can show you how it starts. Now before that, we'll run the status Kafka. See, it's loaded but not it's inactive. So we'll now start the Kafka. Now check it system. Here you go, it's working. Now the problem was that I have to change my username because I missed the username Hadoop there. So that is why it was causing some error before. So it's quite easy to understand the error while you're working with Kafka. Right, suppose here you can see that it's giving me this failure, right? That it cannot execute the start. So it usually means that we have problem with path and stuff. It's not that hard to install actually Kafka. It's not basically installing, we're just downloading it and setting its path. That's all. Now we'll go with Zookeeper as well. Status Zookeeper. Yep, it's active as well. So that's quite easy to actually install Kafka and run Kafka and Zookeeper. And you can always enable it so that whenever you restart your Ubuntu or start your Ubuntu, it just automatically start your Kafka and Zookeeper services. Here you go. Both will start automatically. And now, how to create topic in Kafka. Well, that's a pretty interesting thing. Um, well, to actually create a topic in Kafka, there is a set of code of line that you need to run before actually creating a topic, right? So there's this tutorial topic. You can always try this one as well. It will create a topic here with the name of tutorial dash topic, or you can do it my way. That is, I go to Kafka and then bin folder. Here I just open the terminal, and there's this command of how to actually create the Kafka topic. Yeah, here we go, kafka-topic.sh, and then boot server localhost, and then the name of topic is right here. So I'll write tutorial and enter, create a topic tutorial. So that's it, guys. That's how we install Kafka in Ubuntu. I know it's pretty complicated as compared to Windows, but it's quite efficient in Ubuntu as compared to Windows. Thank you very much. Alright, guys, so I've shown you how to start Kafka and Zookeeper on Ubuntu. Now I'll show you how to create SH files. It's not that compulsory to make an SH file while working with Kafka and Zookeeper. It's just that Kafka and Zookeeper, sometimes if you don't have it enabled on your Ubuntu and you have to restart it every time you start your Ubuntu, or else if you make multiple brokers and Zookeeper files for your work, SH file helps in such sense, since it starts all of your brokers and then it will help you start all of your Kafka. Now I'll just show you the hint on how to create SH files, and further you can play with it more to discover new ways to run Kafka and Zookeeper. All you need to do is just open new terminal for every task. As you can see, for this I am running consumer.py file and producer.py file on different terminals. It's quite important for me to run both of these on different terminals because it just helps me keep the record of how producer is working and how consumer is working. So this genome terminal is basically a command to open a new terminal, and then this will open consumer.py terminal, and this will open producer.py terminal, and then echo is to actually show the working in terms of string, right? Just setup complete, it will output setup complete when both of these files are in working. If somehow it crashes, it will also give me it will not give me echo at all. So to run this sh file, you need to first run this command on your terminal. That will give your system administration permission to run this as an executable file, and then further you have to do this, run underscore kafka.sh. Alright, now the consumer file opened and it just went away because it has done its job. Now the producer file is producing. This is the code for both of these. For consumer, it just prints the messages, and for producer it generates till the while loop breaks. There is no while loop, so it will just print the one time and terminal will go off. It will just print this, and producer will just keep continue till the break till the loop breaks, which it will never. So that's it, guys. That's how Kafka and producer works. I hope you learn a lot from it. Thank you.